You can listen everywhere to the Philip Maloney podcast.
That they'll like at some point, you know, and that can be many and varied. And it's just nice to be able to show off, you know, that whiskey isn't just your bog standard. It isn't you know, it's just not just one way of looking at it. There's many and varied, and which kind of brings us nicely to the next thing, really. What I will do, and I apologise, we'll have to get up and get it all sorted. But effectively, so our next thing.
You go for it.
So you've got a pre-prepared one, so you don't have to do anything. So if you do have ice, for it, great. No worries if not. So
is it better over ice? Is it?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the bottle that we're using. So Ardbeg Corryvreckan.
Yeah.
It is a smoke. This is a smoky Islay whiskey. Mm-hmm. So if you thought the other one was smoky, this is intense. It's great.
Let me do it justice.
Yep.
You talk to the people.
Yep.
And I'll go and get a couple of cubes of ice.
No worries at all.
2 ticks.
No worries at all. So yeah, if you have any kind of, so with the, I suppose, if you've got any, if you like to do an old fashioned, all you need is effectively big glass, some ice, spoonful of sugar, ideally brown if you've got it, no worries if not. Old fashions generally are made with rum or bourbon. But also predominantly now, they are starting to be made with whiskey and whatnot. So what we have here is a smoky whiskey called Ardbeg. It's part of the core range, but it is a wee bit expensive, unfortunately. But you can get peated whiskies across the range, so don't be put off by that. And the other two, the other thing is either orange peel, but also Angostura bitters. Right. No worries. I'm just giving a rundown of what you need for the old fashioned. So we've got Angostura bitters. I'm cheating because I don't have any oranges in my place at the moment. So I'm cheating with orange bitters. Absolute delightful little number. And of course the Ardbeg smoky whiskey. Now you don't have to have, if you don't like smoky whiskey, use any kind of whiskey that you like, and you can use rum or you could use bourbon. So bourbon's a kind of grain whiskey. Rum obviously comes in many different guises. I'd go with a dark rum or a golden rum rather than a white rum. If you're going to go for this. I'm just gonna you talk to camera while I go and get the other little things, and then
Okay. Well, I know that I know one of my friends likes smoky whiskies. That's Dominic Cellier. He's a bit of a whiskey boy. So, oh wow, yeah, that's like a. This has got a definite those medicinal.
Yep.
Medicinal. Yeah, I think that's a word. But I guess that's how you describe those different types of peats, right?
Yep, absolutely.
The smoky peat, well, you said the bonfirey peat, right?
The bonfire peat, bonfire peat, medicinal peat, and sweet peat.
Sweet peat. This is medicinal.
This is medicinal, but it's medicinal with a little bit of sweetness as well. So it does.
I can definitely smell the medicinal side of it.
Absolutely. Now, this is a cheeky little, and this is This is what we call.
Is that your ice?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So, there you go.
Oh, right. So it's a massive
Yep.
ice single cube.
Yep.
Sphere.
Ice, baby, as the old vanilla once said. And spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down.
Oh, lovely.
Right.
Okay.
Angostura bitters.
Okay. Oh, this is a full-on cocktail.
So this is a cocktail. This is an easy cocktail. You can make at home if you've got the ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of dashes in there. Like that. And then what we do, you get a long stirry thing.
Okay.
And you go mental, just giving it a good old stir and all that jazz. Do a little bit of AC Harriet and all that kind of jazz.
That's what I want to see.
Cook. Oh yeah, a little bit of Jamie Oliver. No, I'm not getting naked on your podcast. Don't worry.
Oh, cheers for that, Pete.
Right, no worries. Nobody needs to see that. And then we'll carry on stirring in a minute, and then the whiskey goes in.
Okay. Is mine stirred enough? Is it stirred in the post?
Yeah. So I pre-stirred. I pre-made.
Yeah.
I think. But if you'd like to give it an extra stir, just
I think I should. Just because of I quite like my postman, and my postman sort of. I'd like to think he does a good job by me.
Absolutely.
He doesn't shake it around before I get it. Okay.
Yep.
I'm swelled.
If you have in your pantry or something, an orange.
Ah, okay.
Then ideally, if you have an orange, what you'd do is you'd put some of the peel, squeeze the oils into it.
Yeah.
And then just wrap it around the lip of the glass.
God damn it, you got me. See, I want to try this in the best way possible. 2 ticks.
Yeah, get involved, absolutely. So basically you've got, that essentially is your cocktail. Obviously, when Phil comes back, he'll be able to show in a more meaningful way the orange bag. I'm going to cheat. So effectively, orange bitters can take away, if you don't particularly do oranges, don't worry. Use this. You can get it fairly cheap. It's about £5 for something like that, around about that, 5 to 7 quid. Anyway, a couple of little drops in here, which is delightful. And then, so.
Mans is back with an orange.
Yeah, that's it. Absolute quality. Eh? Absolute quality. Right. Now, go over the glass. Yeah, actually do this. Squeeze it like that.
Oh,
so
ring
put
it.
the glass down and then squeeze it like that.
Yeah.
And then, right, and then put the, this is what I'm going to, so I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And go around the rim.
Okay, I'm rimming it.
Steady.
Can I chuck the peel in?
You can do if you want to. Yeah.
Should I?
Yeah, okay. Go on. He who dares, Rod. He who dares, Rodders. He who dares.
There's a bit of peel in there.
No worries at all.
Okay, so we want an orange.
Absolutely.
I wonder which chocolate this is going to go with.
Well, first and foremost, we're going to drink it neat to start off with, just to we're just going to get right involved, and then we'll get on some chocolate as well. I mean, this is winter warmer. This is. Oh, hello. Oh, we got heather notes. Oh.
Oh, that's a complicated drink right there, isn't it?
It is indeed. It is indeed. Now, if it's, we've got a big whiskey there.
Yeah.
A massive whiskey there. If it's too much, what you can do is you can temper it down with a little bit of lemonade, soda water, something of that kind of nature. Of course, or tonic water or something like that, or even a little dash of water.
That's one of those drinks that I tell you what this reminds me of. Have you ever heard of Disrepute, the bar?
Where's that? Tell me where that is. That sounds quality.
It's in London. It's called Disrepute.
Yep.
And they do loads of like different sort of whiskies and stuff like that. But they're all based. They're kind of like they're based on like a southern New Orleans type.
Yep.
They're not themed. I don't know if there's a few of them, but there's definitely one in London. And they do a smoky whiskey in there. And I remember sitting with my buddy Dominic.
Yeah.
And he likes a smoky whiskey. So I was sitting with him, and I worked out at that point that I'm not massively keen on smoky whiskies.
Yep.
But I get it. There's a I mean, this is your that medicinal peat.
It is
type flavor. If you like that, this is very much your TCPs. You're licking your plaster. Germaline, absolutely. But with a little bit of orange, shall we say? A little bit of orange, yeah. On the nose.
Well, absolutely. Well, as we've got some oranges in there, quite literally, for your good self. So, yeah. Now, if you want theatre, now, unfortunately, I don't have, because I don't have any hay knocking about, and and I've got like a I've got a fire alarm just there, so can't really do it. But if you haven't got those things and you have got some hay, light a bit of hay, put a glass over the top of it, like burn it, so let it all smoke, and then literally you pull it away, and then you use that glass. And that gives it kind of like real theatre of proper smoky. So it's smoky on smoky action. Yeah,
that's some serious smoking going on there.
So
this is a real connoisseur's drink.
Absolutely, I thought
this is a real connoisseur's drink.
What I'd say for yourself, if you've got a little bit of water, put a little touch in, but give it a good mix up as well. Give it a good mix up, and hope for, and that may just temper it down just a touch to be able to give it. But also, this is where the salted caramel comes into its own. I will say the chili as well, so we will go on to chili action. However, this is where the salted caramel just really, for me, just really hits the planes.
Well, thank God for salted caramel.
Salted caramel helps the world go round.
It does. Do you know what? Even the salt, not even necessarily the caramel, but the salt with that smoky drink, with those bitters and things like that, really, really takes it to another place. A place where I like, actually.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A place that I'm a bit more comfortable with. Yeah, that's lovely with that. It's lovely with that chocolate. I wouldn't normally go for a smoky drink, but I mean, I get it. It's like it's that Marmite thing, and I don't really go for.
Full punchy.
Yeah.
However,
but it's lovely with
a bit of salted caramel and that kind of interaction.
Yeah,
you're on board.
It turns it into one of those sweets that you kind of like when you're a kid and you go, oh, I don't really like that. But
Sweet
you've got a
bits.
packet and it's the only one that you've got. And then you just sort of eat it and you go, oh, well, yeah, it's fine. And it is like, what did you say before? Like a root beer.
Yeah, it's a little bit like root beer, but the sweets I was thinking that is like Twiglets. Literally, you go on a Twiglet and you think, I can't be doing this. But after 2, you can't stop.
Yeah, Twiglets.
Literally,
it does have that sort of yeasty, Marmite-y taste to it.
Very much so.
Look, it's like pretty much all of these actually. I found parts of it that I do like.
Yeah. And then there's other parts, and you know what? The great thing is that's where you refine in the palate. You refine your palate, and you go, okay, well, I know for next time I'll go for this kind and that kind. But the great thing is, I mean, you had the Highland Park, which is smoky, and you certainly seem to like that quite a bit. What
was that, number 4?
That was number 4. So it's just defining your palate. It's just finding your way around and going, I like that. No, I don't like that, and not being afraid to say no, I don't like that, because and people not to be offended if you say, actually, I don't like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's that I don't like it. It's just I wouldn't choose it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's quite drinkable. But what I would like to do is try this with, because you've got the smoky notes, and very often people smoke chilies.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to give it a go with the chili.
Well, that's why I wanted you to try it with the salt caramel first, and then finish with the chili.
Yeah. Okay, that's the plan. Right. Let's get some chili going on.
Because of all the tastings I've done, chili really works well with peated whiskies, but also salted caramel works very well with peated whiskies. It's the interaction between the components that seem to really work well.
See, that's quite nicely put that chili in a really nice place with the smokiness.
Yeah.
That's a very pleasant combination.
And again, rather than the medicinal side, is bringing out the heathery notes rather than the medicinal notes.
Yeah.
Almost kind of like heather, lavender, not lavender so much, but kind of that kind of heathery kind of, not as though many people will eat bracken, but it's that kind of.
I was kind of thinking, I don't really know what heather tastes like, or smells like. I know what you mean, though.
Heather honey, well worth get some heather honey, have a smell. You go, oh, okay, I'm not. Yes. I know where I'll smell that.
So that's the difference between Wolverhampton and West London, isn't it?
What? The Wolverhampton massive loving the heather.
Look at that bit of heather honey there. Look,
heather honey. Normally it's the West London who's like, avocados and
no.
unicorn's tears drenched over face. The Wolverhampton massive, we'll have some pork scratchings.
Are we going to get into this now?
Hey, you're the part. I, in theory, should have the worst accent in the world, given the fact that, I say the most weirdest accent, not the worst, but Wolverhampton paired with Liverpool, it should be an interesting combo.
Yes, that's true.
You might say,
and now you've come down south as well, so you've got a bit of that.
But yeah, so in theory, yeah.
Mm. Well, that was an interesting finish on that drink. So what have we got? Let's do a recap.
So let's do a recap. So we started off with the Cotswolds.
Yep.
What
did we say on the Cotswolds?
Cotswolds 2015 Odyssey Barley.
Delicious.
Yep. Lovely the fact that such a young whiskey, just tasting really nice and smooth, and lots of different flavours in there.
Yeah. That was the creme brulee, right?
That's the creme brulee, absolutely. Then we went on to the Belvany.
Yep.
14-year-old Caribbean cask.
Yes. Okay, that had the tropical fruits.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we went on to the Glenfiddich 15, which evolved on camera.
Yeah.
It went from musty to creamy.
Yeah.
Which was a delight to see in itself.
Yeah, and that was due to its casting.
Yeah, well, that was because it, the aeration kind of just let it open up, and then suddenly kind of, it's expressed itself in a more meaningful way.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was definitely a nice thing to have happen.
Absolutely. And then we went on to the first of the smoky whiskies, which was the Highland Park Twisted Tattoo, 16-year-old Rioja cask. Yeah.
That was about as like I was quite comfortable with the smokiness on that.
Yeah.
But it definitely wasn't that the one with the chili.
So that that's
really punched with the chili after the combination.
That's the one that had two different flavour craziness. So it went chili craziness and kind of real kind of intensified chili action, and then with the hazelnut went into marzipan. Battenberg beautifulness. If you like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and the one before that. The Belvany.
The Glenfiddich 15.
Yeah, that's right. The Glenfiddich. That had a good hit with the hazelnut as well, didn't it? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Just so I remember. Yeah. Then the number 5, wasn't it?
And then number 5, which was the controversial one in many respects, that was the truffly. The kind of floral and truffle and sulfury notes.
Yeah.
Burgundian filth, as I like to call it. Now, something that's bearing in mind worth saying about that is, Colin from Diageo did say that actually the higher the age maturation, the more kind of easier on the palate it is. So he prefers 21 years upwards. Right. This is a 17-year-old, which is still amazing. Yeah. But it has that different kind of characteristics.
Yeah.
Very light and almost like
incredibly light. Incredibly light. Doesn't even look like a whiskey.
No. Absolutely. So really interesting, and then we finished on the big bomb, the craziness that is Ardbeg, which hilariously, well, I say hilariously, that they've got a massive following. They're a massive cult kind of distillery. Right. They sent whiskey up into space.
Oh, is that right?
So one of the whiskies they do have is their expression from that, which is called Galileo.
Okay, of course.
They literally sent it up into the space station, did it for a couple of months to see how that would interact.
Yeah.
And then brought it back down to then kind of age the spirit in different casks.
Wow, that must have been a bloody expensive thing to do.
Yeah. But they're innovative. They're really funky. They've got a committee, the Ardbeg committee, which is free to join on, I think, just ardbeg.com.
Mm-hmm.
They bring out releases once or twice a year. They literally sell out within half an hour to an hour. And
whenever they drop a new
whenever
batch.
they drop a new limited edition, they will literally sell out in minutes.
Wow.
I was very fortunate to get one or two cheeky little numbers, and good connections also meant I could get one from a mate as well. It's just really interesting. And they're really funky. Their last expression was Ardbeg Black, which is basically the black sheep of the whiskey distillery.
And that you have to pronounce it.
It was literally BLCK kind of thing, and it's like a tessellated sheeps with one black sheep in the middle of it. But yeah, they're quite fun, quite funky. They're actually owned by Moe Hennessy, I believe, who basically do Glenmorangie and Glenmorangie. Glenmorangie is a beautiful distillery, really cheap. Well, I say really cheap, amazing value. Their core range starts at £22.
Oh wow!
They are. And actually, one of the podcasts, if we do any series, I want to get the brand ambassador Ian Allen. Big shout out! He's already seen and kind of liked some of our stuff already. They're doing some really funky stuff with different wine casks. The master distiller Kirsty is really innovative and pushing boundaries. It's really cool.
Nice.
So there you go.
That's so good, man.
So it's wonderful, and and light drinks, light friendships. It's good to reacquaint with old, new. It's new experiences.
Absolutely. Now, what I would say is that because obviously we've had a lovely leisurely tasting and all the rest of it, and I'm sure it's circa 2 hours, which is not a problem. But what we have to do is another podcast. Of course, about all of these. We're going to dive into these interests of yours, but we're going to go back and we're going to do one off the just for our own indulgence.
Absolutely.
And go back into back in the day, and we've got to talk about Liverpool. We've got to talk about Southall.
Absolutely.
We've got to talk about all our little nights out and all the rest of it. Mutual friends.
Absolutely.
That type of stuff. And but we've got to do it in another podcast.
Well, we do, absolutely. Yeah. But bring on the good times, and as I say, drink it in, sunshine, because drink on the good experiences.
Pete. Yeah. Well, listen, man, that's been fantastic. I think we've got a lot of interest for people to think about. Hopefully for their Christmas stockings. There might be somebody, a whiskey lover, or somebody who doesn't even know that they're a whiskey lover yet, to go and join in with something that you've taken a lot of pleasure and joy from, and hopefully they have shared experiences as have I today. It was nice to have a little peek into your world of whiskies, and what a nice little selection you've provided today.
No worries at all. And if people have got, some preferences, and they think, actually, I'd like to see you doing some kind of like wine, some gins or anything of that nature, happy to kind of Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what we get.
I'm happy being Phil's kind of drinks expert.
Yeah, you are resident.
Whatever.
You are resident now.
Just putting out there, the resident drinks boy.
Yeah, okay, I like it. I'm going to contract you to that.
Absolutely. And obviously we've got obviously Peter Bagley on Facebook, although probably better to get me on at the moment at Peter Bagley _drinks consultant on Instagram, just because that's a little bit more open. I like to keep Facebook generally for kind of friends and stuff like that. Yeah. But in this world, we make friends very quickly, and
mate, absolutely.
Arms are wide open for everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you do want to get in contact with Pete, that's Peter Bagley _
Yep.
The Drinks Consultant.
Just Drinks Consultant.
Drinks Consultant.
Yeah.
Drinks Consultant. Okay. I'm going to put details on the descriptions and things and the hashtags and what have you, and we'll get some of those guys that you shouted out earlier, Absolutely. Your mentors and things, and other brand ambassadors, etc., on board, and hopefully they can promote what we're doing here, and let's do some more.
And likewise, we can promote them. There's it's we all need to share the love, especially in these times. Let's share the beauty
of the podcast family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the beauty of the
inclusivity.
Podcast. Absolutely.
Yeah. Beautiful.
All right, Pete.
Emotional.
God bless you. Thank you so much. All the best, my friend.
Cheers.
To your job. All alone with your kids, with your wife, or with your dog. You can listen anywhere. You can listen everywhere. To the Philip Maloney Podcast.